You know, when I noticed that it was on Tuesday, you do what you do, and you know, credit be given. You know, nothing but good reports in how you guys move around with equipment and personnel and try to intervene when we have these disasters. Now, on the 1st of this month, that was on a Tuesday, it seemed to me the reports that I was getting, along with my colleagues, I mean, that was one heck of a busy day. It seemed from one part of the state to another. I remember that there was an incident on that day behind Tejuosho Market. I believe they call it Kitchen Market. There was an incident there. You were there. Then there was a fire outbreak at a Providus Bank that's under construction. That's all the way over in VI. Then there was also something. There was a trailer laden with fuel, a tanker laden with fuel, somewhere around the Pone axis that was, you know, an accident waiting to happen, but you guys moved in there and you sort of took it off. Now, I wanted to ask, the first thing I wanted to ask is, apart from a day in the life of LASEMA, that might be an interesting topic, I wanted to ask you, that first, where all those things happened, perhaps even more that I didn't get reports of, that surely was an extraordinary day. Or is that an ordinary day in the life of LASEMA officials?
You see, it is an ordinary day in the life of Lagos State, metropolitan, cosmopolitan. And you can see our emergency services, what Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, has turned emergency services in Lagos State to, for us to be able to respond anywhere in Lagos State simultaneously at the same. You can see that the emergency system under the watch of Mr. Governor is robust, is effective, is functional, and very, very efficient. And we keep the golden rule, the golden hour, judiciously.
Okay. When you say, never mind LASEMA, Lagos metropolis, the way I'm going to take that is that it is indeed a metropolis. It's so how many, what's the ballpark figure for population that we're using in Lagos?
Well, we are using close to 30 million now.
Close to 30 million. So when you have up to 30 million people living in a state, and these people are moving around into different venues, I guess a lot could happen in the way of emergency, is what you mean. And indeed, some of them were happening. So that's why I picked out that particular day, unless it is just a day that I happened to get these reports. The same thing is going on other days that you didn't get the reports. Is that what you're saying? Or was that day somehow hectic, but you guys were up to the task?
No, it's not. It's a normal, our people in the emergency circle say it is a normal phenomenon.
So, correct me, fire outbreak at Kitchen Market behind Tejuosho,
yeah,
on that same first. The Providus Bank under construction at Adeola Adeku,
yeah,
that same day.
That same day.
And I saw that you were involved, you were reporting. It means you crossed over from Yaba for another emergency is happening at VI Adeola Adeku. Then there's also, and then of course there's the Ekponi one. At least those three I remember.
It shows the proneness in coordination ability of emergency services in Lagos State. It shows that we have a plan in place. It shows that we have resources and manpower in place to kickstart any form of emergency in anywhere of the state. And it shows clearly on the mandates of Mr. Governor that safety of life and properties will be paramount to this administration. As I speak, we can kickstart any form of emergency response at Badagry. Simultaneously, we can kickstart it at Ekpe, despite the fact that there are various ends. And you can see about a few days ago, we have employed more power in emergency services in Lagos State.
Indeed, we're going to come and talk about, we have the caption of tackling fire disasters and building collapses, but I'd just like to leave it at emergencies, because I get the feeling that if, God forbid, anybody had fallen into a well, you guys would mop that up too.
Definitely.
Look at it's emergencies.
Look at what we did. Look at what we did during the Operation Shark. Look at what we did during the Operation Shark, when a PSP vehicle plunged into the river at night around 11 o'clock.
Yes.
We move in there, despite it is on our waterways. We move in there. We rescue the occupants alive. We provided first aid, and they were taken to hospital where they were taken care of. It shows the resources, the manpower that this administration puts into place in trying to save life and properties.
Indeed, indeed. I saw that picture, and that was a. I mean, you clearly you were deploying some heavy duty equipment to be able to.
You call it equipment. We call it Charlie. We call it Goliath. We call it Elephant. They are the queen and they are the queen and the dragons of emergency services in Lagos State.
But it still is equipment.
Oh,
it is heavy duty, no less.
You call it equipment.
But it is the Goliath.
It is the Goliath.
Okay, I
it
hear you.
is the Charlie.
Okay.
And you can see.
Charlie is another nickname for it.
No, it's not nickname. It's their name, really. When we move our Charlie, see when we carried out Operation Shark. See how we lifted a 30 tons PSP, our Shark, a PSP vehicle from our waterways to ensure and to give the good people of Lagos State that under the watch of Mr. Governor, safety of life will be in everywhere, both water, terrestrial, even in the air. We are all there.
Dr. Femi, I'm not going to argue with you. That seemed to me like one heck of a powerful crane, but you say, don't use those expressions. Shark. Or
Charlie.
Charlie.
Julius Berger can call theirs crane and heavy duty equipment.
I see.
But we call it Charlie. We know how important it is.
And this is publicly owned. It's by government.
It's by the government. The governor has been so magnanimous now. He has approved 5 years plan for LASEMA. And yesterday, at the executive chambers, he has approved building capacity of LASEMA with different Charlie, different equipment.
Excellent. You know, the other thing I note, and you've touched on it, you got dozens of fresh fire engines. That might be the Lagos State Fire Service, but somehow you guys must be very close relatives.
We work together.
It's
a teamwork.
Relatives, in terms of
because in Lagos State we work under incident command control chain.
The fire service is part of that. Look, how many new engines did you?
We are having about 65. Now the beauty of it is not only the equipment. To a lot of people, they are seeing equipment. To us, as emergency responders, we are seeing assurance when the government of the day is identifying with emergency responders, building their capacity, giving them equipment, ensuring their well-being. It speaks volumes.
You know, it indeed does. It does. But when you say a lot of people are seeing equipment, well, I'm not too sure about that. A lot of people just know that quite frankly, Lagos is the place to be. God forbid anything bad should happen. There is no state that has the capacity of Lagos to respond. Now, whether you people bring Charlie, whether you bring train, they just know that, thank God I was in Lagos. In as much I was going to witness a disaster, I would have wanted it to be here simply because of Charlie and Goliath.
The way we call it is different. You call it Charlie. Because when you call it Charlie, it knows how to move.
Femi, you're feeling good.
I'm definitely feeling good because we are saving lives. Morbidity and mortality that is associated to disaster in Lagos State has been greatly reduced.
Wow.
And when you are looking at emergency, you talk about the response. No, we don't talk about the response just like that. We talk about the planning, we talk about the preparedness, we talk about the assurance, and we say loud and clear that the governor of the day have taken clear ownership and provided the political will for emergency services in the state. And it has a ripple effect in terms of infrastructure, in terms of economy, in terms of well-being of the good people of Lagos State.
Yes, so what you're saying is that, well, no, I can hear what you're saying. You know, your enthusiasm for this project,
assuring the good people of Lagos,
your passion for it, you know, it's going back to, and there's really nothing for us to argue about apart from nomenclature. But the thing that I thought was most remarkable is that, however it is done, once the message gets across to LASEMA that there's this emergency here, You guys are on it like ants all over a sugar cube. So that's, to me, all the other things. You need to be a professional. And indeed, I could ask for some of those professional insights into what is going on. I think that was what you were touching on. Say, there's a heck of a lot of planning for a person to pick up a phone and say, LASEMA, this is happening here. For you guys to then turn on a dime and be all over there, of course, that's going to take a lot of planning, and nobody can take that away from you. But do you get what I'm saying? That the professionals, the emergency response professionals, you know, you need to see it in very close detail, as you have said so, as you've said. But to all those other people that Governor Sanwo-Olu and his team are responsible for, they're just knowing that we got it good in Lagos.
Definitely. But let me correct you a little bit.
Sure.
It is not only LASEMA alone. It is LASEMA and its stakeholders.
Yes.
And when we are talking about its stakeholders, we are talking about first responders like the ambulance services, like the fire services, like the LASEMA. You get what I'm trying to say?
Indeed.
We work as a team.
So
and
all of that necessarily is going to have to be under some sort of a command. Whereas the governor himself might be, you know, at least, you know, of course, he's going to be getting a feedback. Is there, when you have an operation like that, is there an overall in-charge guy?
It's clear when you have a PAMSEC in a place, in a public service, a PAMSEC in a place take charge of the responsibilities of all the first responders.
So that would be you.
Definitely.
You know, by the grace of God.
By the grace of God.
You know.
And I'm highly humble and privileged to be in that position.
So,
and I'm not taking it for granted.
Indeed. So tell me, as I said, I outlined 3 separate emergencies on the first. I was just going to say that was a baptism of fire, but you're downplaying it. You know, you're being modest. You're downplaying it. Say, well, it's a day in the life of, you know, so this is the kind of thing we do. We could do it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
From 12 midnight to today, we've responded to 10 major emergencies. 10. And we are still on.
These emergencies that you, what do they span? What kind of emergency? Certainly, a fire is an emergency.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Overturning, blockage of, putting blockage of the canal is a sort of emergency.
Okay.
Overturning of tankers is a sort of emergency. People going by, collapsing is a form of emergency.
Okay.
Road traffic crash is a form of emergency. What we are saying is that we are attending to any form of life-threatening issues in Lagos State.